So I just got access to Google Bard and I wanted to compare it with ChatGPT to see the difference between the two of them. This comparison is based on 1. UI, voice, dated answers, links, response quality, multiple responses, and multiple chat threads. Having been using ChatGPT for a while, I wanted to see if Google Bard is going to live up to the hype of the AI battle. So let's go into that. So first thing first, this is the UI for Google Bard. This is ChatGPT here. Now, as a product designer, I must say that for UI, Google Bard seemed to win here. This UI is superb. It looks very modern compared to ChatGPT's ancient kind of interface. Now, second thing that I'm going to check is voice activation. Obviously, if you look at here, I can use my microphone. Right now, you can see it's literally picking exactly what I'm saying and having that imputed as text. This is a good thing. Now, if I go to ChatGPT, there is no way to use voice, which, of course, that means Google Bard is already leading that. Let's test for dated answers. In order to test for dated answers, what I'm going to do is, what is the latest? So I'm going to use what is the latest update on the crisis in Pakistan. And I'm going to copy that. Now I'm going to I've sent that. Now you can see it says the latest update on the crisis in Pakistan is that the political unrest blah, 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 on May 12th. This is a recent date. Now let me take that and take it to ChatGPT. I'm starting a completely new chat using the same prompt. What is the latest update on the crisis in Pakistan? I'm sorry, but I need more specific information about the crisis in Pakistan you're referring to. Now, so let me add it here. That's May 10, 2023. You see, as an intelligent, I do not have my knowledge cutoff is September 2021. What that means is Google Bard wins here again. Now, the third thing I'm going to do is utilizing links. So let's just say YouTube. So let me just pick my YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel right here. I'm just going to use my YouTube channel link and then let's see what that is going to see. So I'm going to say summarize this URL and then I'm going to say go. Now I'm going to copy that and then send that in. The YouTube channel Audacity to Lead is run by Dyer Samuel, which provides training on how to use design as a strategy for life and business. Now, let me take that and take it to ChatGPT, which is quite good. It utilizes URL too. And by the way, this is GPT 3.5. So I'm not even using GPT 4 yet. If you look at here, it says the URL directs to the YouTube channel of Audacity to Lead, which is a platform that aims to help individuals build their leadership skills, personal development, and entrepreneurship abilities, which is very good. So that means the two of them can actually utilize URLs, which is good. Up next is response quality. I'm going to ask both of them to do a little bit of task. Now I'm going to first of all input it into ChatGPT. Let me create a new chat and then let's start from scratch here. Now what I'm simply going to do is I'm going to impute that here and I'm going to see what that is going to say. So this is the text that I want to work on. I'm going to tell it to rewrite into a YouTube Shorts, rewrite into a 30-second script for a YouTube Shorts. That's all, and I'm just going to send that in. So you can see the answers. It says, are you studying for a job that won't exist in 10 years? Imagine being a writer who wrote about machines taking over the world, only to have machines take over your job. Don't panic. It usually takes years before any technology takes over completely. Now is the time to get ahead. If you're here now, you could be here, but don't wait, start preparing yourself. Don't let the future catch you off guard. Now, if you compare that to my prompt is an entire generation is studying for jobs that won't exist in the next 10 years. Imagine you're a writer, you wrote about machines taking over the world, but now machines have taken over your job. Don't worry though, before a new general purpose technology completely takes over productivity, it usually takes years. It doesn't happen overnight. Now is the time for you to get ahead. If you're here now, you could be here, you could be thereafter, but that doesn't mean you should coast. Oh, I wrote coast. You should start getting yourself ready. I'm going to use the same prompt. I'm going to take that to Bard. Now the first downside that I have with Bard is the fact that you can have multiple chats. That's the first downside. Even though I've checked the FAQs, it says you can have that. Right here, it is not true. I'm not sure how that works. What you can, however, do is you can reset your chat here. It says your current session will not be saved, but you can view your prompts in Bard activity. So if I click on reset, it goes down to this. And then if I come to Bard activity, you will see it opens up a new chat and you can see all the different prompts you've used since you started using Bard here. Now, I'm going to come here. For me, that's a downside because it means I can't always train Bard to speak in my language, to speak using my tone, to be able to do things that I like to do in the way that I like to do them. So that's a big downside. And for that, ChatGPT scores 5. So I'm going to enter the prompt. Let's see what's going to show. Again, the same text. Now it says, sure, here's a 30-second script for YouTube shorts on the topic of the kind of jobs that will be automated in the next 10 years. Now, the subject is not the kind of jobs that will be automated in the next 10 years. Anyway, it says video, a visual, a young person sitting at the desk looking at a computer screen. Audio, an entire generation is studying for jobs that won't exist in the next 10 years. Imagine you're a writer and you've written about machines taking over the world, but now the machines have taken over your job. What do you do? This looks interesting because it kind of makes it a little bit more interesting compared to how I wrote that. For response quality, I think Google Bard has advantage. Now, I must also point out a feature that I also noticed in comparing ChatGPT and Google Bard. What you find here is that ChatGPT just has a way for you to copy your charts here. Now, in Google Bard, however, for Google Bard, what you get to see is once you are done with whatever it gives you, you can simply click on this export response here, or you can click on Google it, and I'm going to show you what each of them means. So if you click on export response, it's going to turn it into a draft in Gmail, or it's going to export to Docs. So let's see what the two of them will do. Now for ChatGPT, all I'm just doing is if I click on this clipboard icon here, it simply copies it to your icon. By the way, there's no response to tell you that what you've copied has actually been copied. So maybe that's a little bit of UX that needs to be implemented there, that if you copy it, it just lets you know that you've copied something. Just changing from that icon there is a little bit too small. Now, if I do this here, export to Docs, you can see Google UX immediately signifies to you here. So it says Open Docs, and if I click on Open Docs, you will see it right here inside your Google Doc, which is a good thing. And if I export, let me export as a draft in Gmail, you can see it has created a new. So if I click Open Gmail, and now it's going to go try to open Gmail, and you can see now it's turned it into a mail. All I need to do is add a recipient. So if I write a recipient, let's say project at Audacity to lead, if I send it to project at Audacity to lead, you can literally send this as an email. And if I want, just as I usually do, I can schedule it for a later time rather than send it immediately using here, schedule send. So I can utilize that. For me, I'm not interested in sending it as an email, so I'm going to cancel that. So I'm going to delete that. Again, you can see the moment I cancel that, it goes back to the previous window. That's a nice UX. Now, if I click on Google it, now Google it says related topic, search related topic, which is a good thing because it can help you verify the information. If you look at it, it says an entire generation is studying for jobs that won't exist in the next 10 years. So let's search that. By the way, that came from, you see, myth of jobs that don't yet exist. You can see that, did you mean an entire generation is studying for a job that would exist in the next 10 years? What else am I referring to? So you see, there's nothing here, but it shows you a lot of links, which is good. That's a way to go from, so another search, you see, what are 3 jobs that will no longer exist in 10 years? You can see again, that's another good thing. So you can click on what are the type of jobs that will be available to future generation, best jobs of the future. So this, of course, if you see, it does not really yield any meaningful answer. It says best jobs of the future. If you go into the list, you see that it's currently jobs right now that can move into that future. So you need to be aware of that. Future job concerns, nothing else here. There's no way for me to check validity here. Now, what I could do is I could take the same prompt, take it to ChatGPT 4, which is the paid version, and then see what it's going to come up with. Here I am in ChatGPT 4, and I'm simply just going to utilize this. I'm going to paste the same prompt. Now let's see what it's going to show us. And by the way, there's a new update to ChatGPT. Now it's showing purple icon. So it's gone from green to black. Now it's showing purple. That's a good thing, isn't it? But you can see here that ChatGPT is giving me minute-to-minute answer in comparison to Google Bard. Google Bard just gives me just the generic idea, but this is giving me second-to-second, minute-to-minute answer, which is very good. Narrator starts off, it says, today, many are studying for jobs that may vanish in a decade. Picture this. You're a writer. You penned tales of robots ruling the world. Suddenly, they're taking your job. But fear not. High-tech takeovers aren't instantaneous. They need time. Now's your chance to leapfrog ahead. If you're here now, you can be there then. But don't relax. Begin preparing yourself. The future awaits those who are ready. And background music fades out. That's very good. When it comes to response quality, GPT-4 has better answer. with ChatGPT, you can easily find your regenerate response button right here. For Google Bard, that is kind of hidden away. It does have regenerate response, but it's hidden under this view other drafts. So you find it here, regenerate response. This is why I think Google Bard has done a good job here. Whenever you prompt it, it gives you 3 drafts. So this is draft 1, draft 2, and draft 3. Any of them is fine by you to use. And if you don't like, you can literally just click on regenerate draft and it does that regeneration for you. And of course, you can do the same thing for ChatGPT here and it will do the same thing for you. What I, however, love about that is the fact that the UX is easier here than for Google Bard that is hidden here. If I were to design this, what I would have done would be to have this a little bit smaller, that is by width. Since they are using 4 rows, or 4 columns, I'll basically just make this a little bit wider, make the icon a little bit more visible, so that in case I want to change my mind and generate a fresh response, I can do that. Now, the next thing that I also have to mention here has to do with multiple charts or multiple threads. With ChatGPT, it's easier for you to simply click a new chart here. That option, that feature is not currently available in Google Bard. So that's a downside for that. Perhaps maybe like me, you use these tools for research, you do better job when you can have the same threads doing the same thing. And by the way, that's a key lesson when it comes to using AI. Let the conversation you're having, let them have context. Make the context. So if you're using ChatGPT, for example, if you're using one conversation, use that one conversation for things related to each other, rather than creating new chats every single time you need to use ChatGPT. But for Bard, there is no way to make that happen. So you have to always reset chats. So if I click on reset chat here, you see, literally it's blank. And then it means in order for me to find what I've done, I have to come to Bard activity and then click on this. I'll maybe click on this and see, but again, the response is not here. So that's the other part. So while I can see the activity, I can see the response. So you can see the details here. If I click on manage, it simply takes me to deleting my activity, which is not what I'm looking for. Whatever it is you've just entered, it's kind of gone into their own experimental research. Maybe that's what's happening. I have no idea. But I just wanted to do this comparison to just bring this to your attention. Perhaps you are thinking of using Google Bard. It's very good. I love the fact that it's updated, but ChatGPT still has a little bit of advantage over some of the features that Google Bard is yet to have. I want to know which of them you have tried and which of them you prefer. So in the comment down below, tell me which of them you've tried, and perhaps maybe there's something I missed or I didn't talk about. Also share that with me. Let me know as well. I'm Daya Samuel, and I'll see you in the next video.